Hello everyone, welcome back to another 1v1 Warhammer battle. This is going to be the Dwarves versus Chaos. My build is a complete melee build with a core of Hammerers, but the front line here we have two miners, sorry, I'm trying again. Two miners, two dwarf warriors in the front line. I actually thought I'd place them differently, but anyway. And then behind them we have a dwarf warrior with great weapons, and then three hammerers, one of which is the PK guard. And then I also have the grumbling guard, dragonback slayers. They're being led by a generic lord with the fire ring, because that's cool. And then I've also brought two runesmiths. So I kind of brought an anti-armor chaos build. Since most chaos players do anti-dwarf, I was like, let's try anti-chaos. So I got three hammers, you know, so that's a lot of anti-armor. For the chaos player, we have Kolek Sun Eater, we have a Pharaoh Manticore. Over here we have a few chaos warriors, I believe three of them. Yeah, three chaos warriors. For some reason this player brought chaos warrior halberds, two of them, and then one chaos warrior with great weapons. I'm not entirely sure. Now halberds, from what I understand, they can fight 2 rows deep as opposed to 1 row deep with, you know, most other infantry in this game. So maybe they were just thinking that they can overwhelm me with, you know, attacks per second or whatever. I don't know, but they brought 2 Chaos Halberds. Then over here, they also have 2 Chaos Knights with Lances, one of which I saw at the very beginning of the game. And my strategy right now is to get in the trees, because I have no large units, because we're dwarves. And I knew that they had at least 1 knight, and now I'm going to find out they actually had 2. And then on top of that, they also have Kolek and a Pharaoh Manticore. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to go over here, because, you know, large creatures have penalties in the forest, so I would prefer to fight in the trees. So that is what I'm doing. We started, I think right here is about the line, and then it just immediately went forward. I was also worried about the player bringing a cannon, so I wanted to try and position myself in a way where I would hope that some of the shots would get hit by trees. That's why I deployed on the right here. But they didn't have that. And right here, I'm actually trying to cut off the Chaos Knights here, because the edge of the map is right there. I was hoping to kind of catch them with my Dragonback Slayers, but the player is not going to allow that to happen, so they're going to actually withdraw back into that forest. And I believe they land there. Yeah, they're going to land their Manticore nearly right on top of my Dragonback Slayers. Everybody was grouped up, so I clicked an attack order, and I immediately halted because I don't want everybody collapsing in on one, you know, Manticore. So I'm going to send in our Dragonback Slayers, I'm going to send in our Grumbling Guard to try tying down and start getting damage. In the meantime, I'm going to make a somewhat front line right here temporarily. Ideally, I actually want to fight in these woods because they're a little bit thicker. But right now, I can't just let go of this opportunity to deal damage to this. Oh, I'm sorry, not a Chaos Pharaoh. This Exalted Hero. I called him a Chaos Pharaoh Manticore. My bad. So we dealt some damage to the Exalted Hero, but they are going to get out, and I'm going to resume our march. And again, our goal is over here. I believe we actually end up fighting over here, but my goal was over here. So the 2 Chaos Knights have pulled back over here, and again, I see one of them because they're not in hiding. And the enemy players kind of marched into where we started. So this is a little interesting. We've kind of switched positions here, which is great for me. Because, again, they have the large creatures. So Kolek is going to come in here, and I'm trying to get a formation down. You can see it right there, and I think I'm going to adjust it one more time to be more like this here very soon. We can actually fast forward a little bit. Yeah, there you go. I'm repositioning back further into the trees, and then I'm going to do another reposition, I think. Yeah. And that's going to be my final reposition. But the thing is, Kolek is going to come in here and kind of halt my plans. Again, I wanted to try and fight back in here, but he's going to engage me right here. I'm going to still kind of pull back, and then I'm also going to throw in our Dragonback Slayers onto Kolek Sun Eater, while also maintaining a withdrawal, kind of. But he continues to chase my Dwarf Warriors, so I'm like, well, we're just going to kind of have to fight right here now. I wanted to fight back here, but this is going to have to do. We're going to fight him out at the edge of the forest. So the Exalted Hero is going to come down. Kolek's going to come down. I'm going to start dropping some buffs from our Runesmith. We have one Runesmith here, and the other one's going to be over here, which eventually is going to move up right there. You see our Dwarf Warrior is going to get hit by the Kolek's lightning, which does a lot of damage. And then right there goes our first flame from our Dwarf Lord. Dealt kind of a lot of damage, considering these are high armor targets and it's fire damage that's being thrown at them. So yeah, we're going to do kind of just like a hard engage right here. The Chaos Knights with Lances are going to be coming in behind, so I'm going to be throwing in our Hammerers. We have the PK guard going over. This Hammer is going to go over. Meanwhile, our third Hammerer is going to go over here with this Dwarf Warrior and the Runesmith, and they're going to engage the second row of Chaos Warriors. Dwarf Lord is going to go right into the middle along with these Miners and Dwarf Warriors. We have the Dragonback Slayers right here trying to kill Kolek. Again, the Runesmith is right there. We have the now 2 Hammerers, one of which is the PK Guard, and the Grumbling Guard over here to try and deal with the Chaos Knights, who did charge us in the trees, which is perfect for me. They still did do a lot of damage to one of our Hammerer groups along with Kolek right there, but it's the best situation we're going to get fighting in the forest. And again, just dropping more runes. I'm dropping Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Every chance I get, I'm continuously checking the 2 Runesmiths to make sure that their spells are basically always on cooldown. Using them whenever they pop. Also popping the Dwarf Lord's buff as well. I forget what it's called, like Stand or Die or whatever. Meanwhile, my Dragonback Slayers are just going to be continuously following Kolek and slowly chipping away at him as he's trying to destroy our Grumbling Guard and our Hammers. PK Guard are going to get some decent damage in on Kolek because he walked right in the middle of them. Now, they are mostly anti-armor, but still right now they are lowering his armor even more and allowing the Dragonback Slayers to do that much more damage to Kolek. So, like, the PK Guard basically work almost in any army because they're debuffing the enemy and making it easier to kill them for other units. So running right to the PK Guard may not have been the best call, but he's going to actually pull Kolek back over here. And again, I'm just chasing him with the Dragonback Slayers. That's their only target right now. The Chaos Knights have been hit by Rune of Wrath and Ruins, and just the Hammers and the Grumbling Guard are just slowly tearing them to pieces. Meanwhile, on the right flank, we have one Dwarf Warrior, but then the Hammer group right here along with the Runesmith, and they are going to deal so much damage to these Chaos with Halberds as it goes to second fire from our Dwarf Lord, who's embedded in the middle of Chaos by himself with some Miners and basic Dwarf Warriors around him trying to fight their way back to the Lord. Dragonback Slayers are now going to go on the Exalted Hero briefly, and then they're going to switch targets back to Kolek, who's going to be coming charging in once again. I have pulled back our Grumbling Guard from right here and pulled them over here so they can start applying their Vigor buff to the area over here, because it's not that wide, the buff that is, so I need to kind of spread the love along our entire line, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why I pulled them away from this Chaos fight over here, and now they're going over on this flank instead. Meanwhile, the Dragonback Slayers, like I said, they're continuously on Kolek Sun Eater, so they're on him right now, along with our Runesmith and then the Grumbling Guard as well. And then we are starting to rout the group of Chaos Warriors over here with the Dwarf Lord and the Dwarf Warriors nearby. And again, you can see the Vigor buff being dropped on this entire area right here by our Grumbling Guard. It is such an amazing unit. Nearly broken, I say. It's one of the best units in the game, the Grumbling Guard. So now the PK Guard are free to engage against this group of Chaos Warriors because they have now shouted the Knights. And then my other group of Hammers are going off against Kolek, and that is when the enemy army is going to collapse. The Hammers were too much, and I was able to get position, basically the position I wanted. The Chaos Knights were, I mean, not entirely negated, but a lot of their damage is negated in the forest. So I was able to get, again, basically where I wanted to, and then we just duked it out, and the Hammers did amazing. Because they're Hammers. But good game to beautiful Duwang, who got 76 kills with Kolek. That is no small feat. And even in the forest, these Chaos Knights still did pretty good. Almost 50 kills against our Hammerers and Grumbling Guard, which are vital units for my army. But anyway, for my battle here, we have 23 kills from the Dwarf Lord, who just got in the middle of the Chaos Warriors and was just swinging. The generic Dwarf Lord is still a super good unit. It's just the Dwarves have amazing Lords, like across the board. So you don't really see them often just because you have, you know, Rune Lord, you have Grombrindle, you have Ungrim. Ungrim. That's a joke. I kid. You also have Thorgrim. Thorgrim's pretty good too. So the Dwarf Lord kind of gets bypassed a lot, but I still think he's super good. He's super cheap and so sturdy. And that fire ring is just really cool. But anyway, who stood out here? The Hammers, 74 kills in this group. Only 30 kills in the PK Guard, but they're focusing on Kolek and the Chaos Knights. I still think they did pretty good. Dragonback Slayers did pretty good. Miners did pretty well. They stayed to the bitter end, and these, where's that? Yeah, 16 kills on the Dwarf Warrior with great weapons, and they had like no units left. I'm shocked they stayed in the battle as long as they did. That Dwarf leadership, though, is so strong. Exalted Hero also netted 20 kills, which is really good, and then the Chaos Warriors got a decent amount of kills as well. You can see the Chaos Warrior with great weapon did 38 kills. Meanwhile, the Halberds 17 and 5. Now, they were fighting Hammerers, which is a battle they don't really want to fight. But still, even in that battle, you can see the Chaos Warriors' great weapons did so much better. Again, I'm kind of surprised with the Halberd choice. It's the one odd choice in this build for me when you're fighting against dwarves. Maybe they were expecting gyrocopters? I don't know. But good game to beautiful Duwang. I hope you enjoyed. I'm probably calling this episode Hammertime. And we'll look into the cinematic view of this battle. Kolek is coming for us! Run, dwarfs! Run! Jesus. Man. Kolek is still one of the coolest looking legendary lords in the game. Hands down. All those buffs. You can see the runes of Wrath and Ruin being dropped. Jesus, that thunder. was looking for those Chaos Knights. Oh, there they are. They're coming. Ooh, those hammers wore it. But here come the PK guard. And they don't give a fuck. That is so much anti-armor. And our little Dwarf Lord is just going to keep going forward. They got a little clumped up here. Hammers are a beautiful thing. Oh, I love that Dwarf War Cry. Hope you enjoyed the Hammertime, everybody. You don't really see hammers that often. Like, I'm the same. Like, I barely ever bring hammers. I actually never bring hammers, really. And the PK guard, which is still a great unit, I don't really see them at all either. I think it's just because, like, Dwarf Warriors, the base Dwarf Warriors, are just so good for the amount of money they cost. So, like, I think Horde builds are more common because they're just, it's a strong build. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Take care.